How's it going? Wow. This is, I don't know, just to explain what's happening, bit of a break, taking a bit of a break. A couple of things figured out recently, mostly with when it comes to freelancing and all that jazz. And it's kind of interesting when you take that time to just zone out of all social media, phones, music, and just think and kind of understand the whole situation. So, there's a couple of things I kind of, figured out, discovered, and of course, I'm gonna go a couple of things I'm noting down to bring to a shrink and, go into a further stage when it comes to that. Yet, wow, fuck. When they say that the way you've been brought up can kind of tell you about the habits that you have right now. Well, yeah, I already have something against the against African American communities to a certain degree, and Haitians as well. And of course, I did tell a bit about when it came to a bit of my childhood, stuff I had to endure when it came to family and the community in general. And something that's kind of coming up, and I guess I might as well get to the point, is this constant attempt, and it's a weird little process. It's this constant attempt to achieve, being trying to overperform, trying to perform it fast. Back in my childhood, you'd have to, well, with these parents, their form of teaching was you learn it, you try to get it on the spot the first time, or else. I'm gonna let you figure out whatever you want on that or else, but let's just say they were heavy-handed to a certain degree when it came to learning. They didn't have patience to make you or make me understand the method and how the functionality of how it all worked out. So there was always this sense of you got to do it fast, you got to be the first in the class. You mostly because when it came to Haitian community, your kid is kind of like for them, for that generation, okay? Your kid is kind of like a trophy. Whenever you go to church or community center, it's like, oh yeah, my kid is doing this, that, and that, and what about your kid, and yada yada yada. And then you'd come back home, and it's like they would either trash talk on the other person's kid, saying, yeah, this kid is just running around doing this and that and that. Don't be like that kid and all that. So there was always this aspect of competition within the community, okay? Or within the household, my household specifically in my neighborhood as well. But there's always this aspect of being a trophy kid, trophy son, and it's like you'd better learn or else. Doesn't matter what else happens. So if your grade goes below a certain state, well, shit's gonna hit the fan, bro. So that kind of aspect, like looking back at it, it's crass. It's obvious crass, mostly because I couldn't give much more of a fuck what the other neighbor's kid is doing. No fucks given. It's not affecting my fucking life. Like that's blunt and honest. All right, that kid does what he does. I do what I want. He's not me. I'm not him. And this whole competitive aspect between parent is utter garbage. But had to endure it even when it came to high school, and that became quite crass because if I didn't understand something, it's like, well, the belittling happens. You know how certain mothers are, right? It comes to the uber belittling kind of garbage, and it ingrains this sense of do or die. Don't try the learn the process and all that, and you'd better get it fast. It's this weird ingraining garbage that sticks in your well sticks stuck in my head for a while. So when I finally got out of hellhole that's called high school, because fuck that place, I got to college, but I still had the same mentality of doing it fast, doing it quickly, and then you couple that on with all the other programs. So when it came to getting into an art program, because I was already interested in art, the same mentality continued. And it kind of got me into the program and other anatomy classes and such, yet it is not the right mindset to have when it comes to work. And what kind of doubled down on the fuck me over aspect of it all was in college we had classes talking about freelancing and such, pricing your work, and also doing, you don't have that much experience, so you can't high price your work, but you have to do your work fast. And I, again, it was resonating with what I lived through, where it's like you do it fast, you have to do it perfect on the dot, or else. So at that point, I started, and I noticed I started working for, let's say, setting up um, pillars of commissions. Like, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that for this price. And when it came to this price, I had to put it low because I didn't have that much experience. I still don't think I have that much experience, but I'll get back to that soon enough. Setting up those low price. The problem, and the part that's the fucking me over part, is that with slow price, you can't add that much work into the work, right? Like, let's say you're doing something for $20, okay? It better not take you more than 2 hours because you're working at $10 per hour. And that's cheap. And so there's this cap because of the price, because of the experience, there's a cap of time. Cap of time meaning a cap of skill because there's a certain amount of skill that you can put in a certain time gap. Um, and that just bottlenecked the fuck out of me, along with, when it came to religion, having this whole martyr BS ingrained in me. It's like, oh, you gotta have this virtue type of thing. And it's like, I still look, I still consider this honor and virtue and all that. I'm down with all that. But the constant self-flatulation type of bullshit, that's no, 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 no. The constant, you shouldn't fight back, or you shouldn't take certain opportunities because maybe you're not worthy. Fuck that. So you combine all that into a beautiful mess of garbage, garbage inner thoughts, or inner process. So I was capping because of all that, and I didn't take time to meditate and toss everything aside. I was in the rat race. So price already caps, skill already capped because of price, because of time, because of experience, or experience at the time. So this whole rat race of doing work to get work was a downhill slope. It was interesting for productivity, but when it comes to skill, I was stuck at a certain level, self stuck in a sense, because I was constantly trying to get work to put in a portfolio, which wouldn't even turn out right in the first place, seeing I was capping myself with those low prices and low time. Well, low price, capping low time. Because, again, $20, you'd better do it in 2 hours because you're working for peanuts. Um, so it was kind of good just to sit back and evaluate just what the hell's going wrong, what went wrong, and just going through all that and understanding that process. This whole, how do you say, there, a part of it is, of course, the way I was raised, the way this whole rat race community, rat race bullshit was going on. This trophy garbage was going on, and then there's, of course, the lack of confidence when it comes to certain things. And thank you, religion, right? So it's kind of just nuts. And now took the decision to go, okay, you know what? I ain't going anywhere. If I'm gonna take a commission, then the client is gonna have to accept a high price. Because there's no way I'm gonna add less than 3 hours into what I do. And if they're not up with that pricing, that's okay. They can go look elsewhere. But I personally want to get to a higher level when it comes to my skills, my work, and what I put out. And even if I like take another testing job, I don't want to be in this conflict where I go back home, I got to work on someone else's stuff that shouldn't really take more time because of certain price. No, 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 no. I kind of want to go back to working on my own stuff and putting a longer amount of time on that. Like when it comes to the Extra Stage comic, when I sat down and just cleared everything, looked back at the first four volumes and went, okay, what was I going with when I came with that first volume? What was my clear idea? A heckload of ideas just popped up, and styles that I wanted to try out, drawing type I wanted to try out. Like a lot of things just popped up, and I really want to have time to finish that project and then jump into the animation or do both at the same time. So, like this whole, well, I'm kind of lucky I just took down time to think. That's something I'll have to do much more often. And it's kind of hard, especially when you have to work on certain contracts, when you have this rush of a deadline, then you have to go to sleep and get to go to work to the regular job and vice versa. But the freelancing thing has not panned out, and I want to be able to give more quality to people. For a long time, because of this whole, lack of experience, I felt like I should give a lower price while not understanding that it would cap the amount of work I can give. And at this point, well, fuck it, go for broke. So I shouldn't feel bad. The amount of the price is high because a lot of work is carved in there, and I want to give my maximum to people. And I kind of feel bad whenever I don't, except when it's free work. When it's free work, I really don't mind. But there's always this aspect of if I'm going to do free work, then I can't put that time into a pool of more time for something that's going to have higher quality. So that's a whole different thing, but still something to take note of. And well, moving on forward, I'll spend more time on projects like Extra Stage, something that I'm preparing for YouTube, which is going to take a while, but I'll see how well I can pull it off. Who knows? I might find shortcuts, but shortcuts giving me or allowing me time to work on Extra Stage at the same time. But I want to spend more time on that. At the same time, I want to spend more time on these products to give back to watchers and people following the comic as well, and people following the Facebook page. Um, it's kind of alleviating to notice how the rat race mentality and the rat race aspect just bad, just terrible, fucking terrible. And hell, what's done is done. It's like I guess I spoke a bit about what's been happening in the past with the family, but at this point, what's done is done. The only thing that can be done is coping with the mistakes or events that happen and move on and not be held back by that. So hell, I'm hoping, and at the same time, I'm putting up a lot of post-its on the board to keep in check and make sure that I don't fall into that same train. At the same time, I also give you guys a bit of an update as well. There is something else coming up. I just need more time to stack it up, but I don't know about this week. This week and the next week, it's going to be a bit of a rush. So who knows? I might go silent for a bit. I might try to show some drawing type of stuff as well, or I might try to update the Patreon because I still need to put some stuff on a monthly base. So got to see if I can update, keep myself up to date. I can always keep in touch on Twitter. I may get notification. I may reply a day or two late, but I will reply. Same goes with the comments. I may be late, but I will reply. And about these sketches, the sketches of the World Gone Mad, my sketch, my drafting table is full of post-its for these subjects. So I'm gonna get back into that, and that's good practice for me as well. Just learning a couple of other techniques and sinking time into that. But because really, look at the things going on with the world right now, and it's gone fucking full foobar. So it's good parody material. Aside from that, I think I said the gist of it, right? Bayonetta 2 was a lot of fun. Too bad I fucked up around the end. Something else is coming up. Not gonna say much. And hell, there's not much I could add. I do want to do some more parody videos. I really want to. It's gonna see what's the editing type that I can use to, you know, pull it off with a much better quality, and make it funny as well. Kind of like with the whole UN thing that happened. I want to make another parody style like that, maybe pushing it even further. So I'll see what happens. Hey, thanks again for your patience. And again, if you can learn from what I've said, the experience I've gone through, that hey, go for it. It's not a universal experience. I can fully understand that, and you should too. But hey, for that artist out there that had the same experience and the same crazy fucked up parents that I've had, this is for you. You got to move on. You gotta price yourself a bit higher. You are not worth dog shit. And even if there's other garbage websites like Fiverr or Artisan Clients or even this kind of DeviantArt stuff, fuck them. You shouldn't compete with them. The only one you're competing with is yourself and possibly the person you're trying to get a job over. But hey, you compete with yourself, you bring yourself to a higher level, more people are going to notice this gap of skill, and you're going to feel much better about your artwork. And who knows, people are going to hire you. All right. So this is going to be a weird next couple of weeks, but I'll keep you guys up to date. All right. Thanks again. I will see you later. And now